Hi, this is the third video about solving simultaneous equations, and today we're going to focus on what happens if you are given a word problem. So this is a typical simultaneous equations word problem, but there are no wording. There is no wording in the question to imply that it's simultaneous equations. And the reason I can spot that it's simultaneous equations is because two unknowns are given to us. So if you notice, you're asked to work out the price of one chair and you're asked to work out the price of one table. So because there are two objects, that usually implies two letters or two variables. Another thing that also indicates that we're using simultaneous equations is that we're given two sets of information. So in the first line, it says Sue is buying 4 dining chairs and 1 table, and in total cost it's £142. That's our first set of information. The second set is then Ken buys 6 of the same chairs and 2 of the same tables for £254. So we're given two sets of information talking about the two variables, which means we can now set up two equations. This is probably the trickiest bit to this question, being able to form those two equations before we can actually solve them and work out our answer. So because it's a chair, a lot of people tend to use C for chair, T for table. I'm just going to stick with X and Y, and I'm going to call the chair X and call the table Y. Now, we're working out the cost of these items, and if, for example, a chair was £50 and you buy 4 chairs, you would do 4 times 50. Now, because we don't know the cost of the chairs, it's going to be 4 times X. Now, in order to work out how we're going to form those equations, you can see there are two sentences at the top. So Sue is going to form our first equation, equation A, and Ken is going to form our second equation, equation B. So I'm just going to concentrate on the first sentence. Sue buys 4 dining chairs. So chairs, remember, is X, so that's 4X. And she buys 1 table, so that's just 1Y. And the total cost is £142. So that's our first equation from that first sentence done. Then we're going to look at the second sentence about Ken. And this time he buys 6 of the same chairs, so 6X, and 2 tables, so 2Y, and its total cost is £254. And that's the second sentence done. So the way the word problem is structured is to lead you to write those two equations. So first sentence, first equation, second sentence, second equation. So use the structure of the question to aid you with forming those equations. Now, in the previous video, I talked about changing X because it's usually the easiest. In this case, I'm actually going to change Y because I can see here with Y, all I've got to do is double the first equation to make these two the same. If I choose to do X, I would have to change both equations, and I just want to make it a bit easier for myself. So I'm going to take my first equation A and I'm going to double it. So I'm going to get 8x plus 2y equals 284. And equation B is already 2y. Okay, so because these are the ones that I'm going to change, because it's already 2y, I'm not going to change it at all. So it's just going to stay as 6x plus 2y equals 254. And now I'm going to use the elimination method. So I'm going to subtract the two equations. 8x subtract 6y, 2x. 2y subtract 2y is 0, so they're going to disappear and eliminate. And then 284 subtract 254 is 30. Now I've got rid of one of my variables, I can now solve to work out x. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. X is equal to £15. So each chair is going to cost me £15. Now I've worked out x, I'm now going to work out y by substituting. So I'm just going to substitute x equals 15 into equation A. And I've got 4x plus y equals 142. So 4 times 15 plus y equals 142. 4 15s are 60. And then I'm going to subtract 60 from both sides. So y equals £82. Okay, now I'm just going to double check with equation B just to make sure I haven't made any mistakes. So I'm going to substitute x equals 15 and y equals 82. And I've got 6x plus 2y equals 254. So 6 times 15 plus 2 times 82. And 6 times 15 is 90 plus 164, which equals 254. So these both match, which means they're correct. Therefore, the cost of a chair, which is my x, remember, is 15. And the cost of a table is £82. So just to recap, first thing you got to do is choose your variables. So stick with x and y if you wish, or like I said, some people do like to just use the first letter. So I could have used C here and T here if I wanted to, but choose your two variables. Then use the first two sentences to create your two equations. So first sentence is your first equation, second sentence is your second equation. And once you set up your equations, you can use the elimination method to work out what those two letters are equal to. Work your way through this example, try it again, and then apply it to the knowledge organizer. Thank you.